really throughout the combine, it was all about Tom Brady. And Tom Brady was hanging out with Julian Edelman over the weekend. He was at a game. I forget what. I think it was a basketball game.
I think it was. I think it was Providence and somebody else.
It was a basketball game, and
basketball,
Julian Edelman keeps talking about him coming back. He's definitely coming back with the Patriots, but he doesn't know if Tom Brady's coming back with the Patriots because I don't even think Tom knows if he's coming back with the Patriots. But that was the talk of the weekend. It wasn't really the combine and some of these young players. It was, where is Tom Brady going to go? Is Dak Prescott going to get that $40 million contract that he has been asking for the past year?
We've seen this in the NBA all the time with their off seasons. It becomes, where is everyone going to go? Who's going to team up with who? And since the NFL really has had more bigger players on the market, they've started to hype this rumor stuff up very often too, and Tom Brady's obviously the biggest name, just being the biggest icon that there is on the free agency list. Even if
There's
he's
a couple of good ones,
right? Even if he's not the best free agent
is
in this
available,
current
Philip
state,
Rivers,
right? Even if he's not the best free agent in this current state right now, he's just still the most popular name. So that's going to drive people to wonder, ooh, where is he going?
It's really fun, and that's why when you look at the NFL, when you look at free agency, you look at the NBA free agency, when you know there are big superstars that are going to be available, you talk about it because you just imagine what happens if Tom Brady played for the Jets or Tom Brady played for the Giants. I mean, the stories coming out last week is that the Giants would be very, very interested in Tom Brady if he'd be interested in the Giants. And that's crazy to say when you draft a quarterback at number 6 in last year's draft, and he looked really, really good this year. Besides the fumbling problem that Daniel Jones had, he looked really, really good for the New York Giants this year. And then you talk about Drew Brees, who already came out and said that he's coming back next year. And look at the conundrum that they're going to be in the next couple of weeks, because you have two other quarterbacks on your roster that you're going to have to decide who's going to be your backup. And one of them already came out and said he does not want to be a backup. And you know who I'm talking about. And I'm not talking about Teddy Bridgewater. Hill has come out and said that he wants to be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
The problem is there might not be a spot for him right now because there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks available and not as many vacancies available because of that, because just there's a lot of good backups throughout the league that now want to become starters, like Taysom Hill. So it'll be interesting to see how that works in terms of the locations, in terms of the new coaches, and in terms of the fits, because you got to remember there's also still the draft too, and we know there's going to be certain teams that are going to know they're going to fill it through the draft, and maybe they sign one of those guys to be a backup, but if the guy wants to be paid like a starter, that's not going to happen.
I don't know if I could say conundrum 3 or 4 times in a twist, but I know that that's the word I was trying to look for. But I look at Drew Brees. He's already come out and say that he wants to play one more year, and I do believe he'll have a good season if he can stay healthy. The finger problem early in the season really cost the Saints an opportunity to be even better and had a better record than they did this year. And Teddy Bridgewater looked good. So did Hill. They both looked really, really good taking over, but obviously they're not Drew Brees. So and when Drew Brees is on with the weapons that they have, like Michael Thomas and Kamara, they've got weapons all over the field, and they have a good offensive line and a very good defense. So you look at the Saints and you look at the growth that if they make 1 or 2 moves that could really take them and boost them up.
One receiver, 1 corner, I think, will really make them that good at that point.
And they're right there. They're right there as a Super Bowl contender. Tom Brady is the talk of the town. And as much as everybody says Philip Rivers did not look good last year, I think Philip Rivers did not look good last year because the Chargers did not look good last year. They had a lot of injuries last year. And yes, Philip Rivers is getting old.
Always a fragile team.
He is getting old, but he could still make every single throw. He's got the leadership skills. There's a lot of teams that would be interested in Philip Rivers. Look at Tennessee. That's a team that is right there on the outskirts of being a Super Bowl championship team that could, and I know Philip Rivers has never won a Super Bowl, but why not at the end of his career take a team that he probably defensively he's never had? And yes, when you look at the last 2 or 3 years, the San Diego Chargers have had good defenses. They really have.
They had great defenses in the beginning of his career too, but again, not really great team defenses after that 2009 season. They've had good players on it, but they've had good safeties at times, good linebackers at times. They never had a pass rush really until just recently after that 2009 season. So if he were to go to a team like the Titans, he would have a team that they may need one more pass rusher, one more interior guy, but they have a pretty complete defense besides that. And they've had something that the Chargers haven't had since 2007 either, is they have a very good offensive line. Assuming they can keep Conklin, they have a very good offensive line too. Now, their weapons are a drop-off from what the Chargers are, but it's still young players that are decent receivers, and Derrick Henry if he comes back.
Yeah, and that's why when I look at Derrick Henry is going to be a free agent too. He's going to be expecting a lot of money from Tennessee, having 1,500 yards rushing last year. I mean, he was the rushing champion, and he really took off in the second half of the season like he does every single year. But he took off on a whole nother level this year. Almost took Tennessee all the way to the Super Bowl.
Right.
Which is absolutely crazy when you think about what they did. They knocked off 2 teams in the playoffs, and they were right there on the cusp of being a Super Bowl championship competitive team this year with a very good coach in Mike Vrabel, who has proven to a lot of people that he is going to be a good coach in the NFL. And he took over a team that was a good team, not a great team, and he really made them into a great team, a team that couldn't even get over the hump in the playoffs. So,
right.
And maybe the change of Ryan Tannehill and getting Marcus Mariota, maybe Marcus Mariota is just not a winning quarterback. Now, he can go to another team next year. He can go to the Patriots next year if Tom Brady leaves, and he could be unbelievable in that kind of offense because of what
I don't know.
Like
They've never really liked mobile quarterbacks, though, so I don't know if that would be really the fit.
I think that would be a huge change. Jameis Winston could be a guy that they could be looking at too next year to kind of just fill in with the Tom Brady loss if they decide to move on from Tom Brady. Tom Brady, I don't know where Tom Brady is going. I've already predicted he's going to the Las Vegas Raiders. I do believe that's where he's going to go because
you really think they're trading Carr?
I do. I think they're going to move. Either they're going to trade Carr or they're going to keep Carr as the backup quarterback right now. And I can't see them doing that because they're going to have to pay Tom Brady $30 million.
Could that be an option for the Patriots? Do you think they could trade for Carr?
That could happen. A swap. I just think
essential swap. Yeah.
I just think when you look at Tom Brady is looking to win without Bill Belichick. I think he has something to prove. He's done everything but win without Bill Belichick. You look at Peyton Manning, say what you want, he didn't really win that Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos. He won under 2 coaches with 2 different teams. Tom Brady has not done that. Maybe he wants to match Peyton Manning in that category. I don't know what Tom Brady's thinking in his head, but I do know that him and Bill Belichick have not gotten along over the years, and these are questions that are going to have to be answered by the New England Patriots sooner than later, because right now free agency opens up in about a week and a half,
March
2 weeks.
15th, yep.
You know what I mean? And then you look at all the players that are going to be available. You have Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Phillip Rivers, Von Miller, who's going to be available too, who I think...
No, he's not a free agent.
No.
But he's had trade rumors around him, yeah.
They could drop his contract. They can absolutely waive his contract. Von Miller did not have a good year this year. They're overpaying Von Miller. Von Miller's making like $18 to $17 million a year.
He got paid like a top pass rusher.
So I can see them.
He had
if
a
they can't
bad
trade
first
him.
half. He came along better in the second half, though. I think new defensive coordinator. He had some trouble, and he also had some injury issues this season. So we'll see what they end up doing. It's still going to spawn some value, but again, on the down year, you don't know how much, if they do try to trade him, how much value it would get.
631-965-4990 is the number to call, and we're talking about free agency in the NFL. Again, we go with Dante Fowler, who a lot of people are saying it would be a great fit for a lot of teams. The Jets, who need a pass rusher. There are Giants that are looking for a pass rusher. There were rumors coming out last week, that Jadeveon Clowney is the guy that they're going to be looking to land. And I think it's a big mistake right now because I don't think the Giants are ready to win yet. I really don't.
Well, I don't know if that's going to be his top choice. It just, they need somebody that
Gettleman has come out and said that is one of his top choices.
Okay.
He's the best pass rusher that's going to be available. They need a pass rusher. And you know the Giants over the years, they have not had that magical top pass rusher since the Justin Tucks, the O.C. Umenyiors, or even the Michael Strahans.
Right, and the only reason I say that is because the Giants are not in a situation to win right now, they're going to have to overpay a little more in order to do it. Clowney's not going to go to the same offer to the Giants and to, go back to the Seahawks for the same offer. He'll go back to the Seahawks. They're a better team. So they're going to have to overpay a little, but they're going to have to do that with every pass rusher. They're going to have to do that if they want to go after Ngakoue. They're going to have to do that.
Who's already came out and said that he does not want to go back to the Jaguars. Right. Mm-hmm. And the Jaguars already come out and said they're going to franchise him for $19.5 million.
So the Giants are going to have to spend that kind of money either way to just get somebody to make the team better because Right now, they got Marcus Golden, who had a nice year, but isn't really a number one pass rusher. You have a new defensive system.
He had a great year, Marcus Goldman.
But is he a number one pass rusher? I don't know. In terms of long term, they have a new defensive coordinator. Most likely he'll operate back to the 4-3, and they have a lot of power rushing guys that really don't have the speed rushing guys. So it'll be interesting to see what direction they end up going in, but maybe that one premier pass rusher is worth overpaying for. Now, again, you have to hope that it's not going to decimate your cap too much. I wouldn't pay these guys $20 million, but if you want to pay him $2 million more than market value, I don't think it's a bad move necessarily, because the Giants do need that kind of guy. And again, they're going to have to overpay just because of the state they're in anyway. Not for every contract, but for at least for the top targets that they want.
It's going to be fun. And like I said, there are a lot of big players that are going to be available. A.J. Green's going to be available. The last 3 years, he's not been healthy. But A.J. Green, you put him, if Tom Brady decides to stay with the Patriots, you put him with Tom Brady. That could be the breakout wide receiver he needs to go for another Super Bowl. I think there are going to be a lot of teams. The Broncos, with the young quarterback that they have right now, who looks like he's going to be a star in this league. Locke, who's a guy that a lot of people have been talking highly of, especially what you saw when he took over as the quarterback for the Broncos, the Denver Broncos. Maybe John Elway found the quarterback after how many picks that he's had over the years. John Elway, who's one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game, you would think that this guy knows how to draft a quarterback.
I was laughing at all the people in that draft that loved Paxton Lynch. I'm like, nope. Just watch. He's not going to be that good. Well, and it's continued after that.
Paxton Lynch, I don't even think he's in the NFL anymore.
No, he's not. He was a backup for the Seahawks, I think, 2 years ago.
Trevor Siemian, who nobody would have thought was going to be in the NFL. He's still in the NFL. He was a 7th-round draft pick. And you look at Lynch, who was a late first-round draft pick by John Elway, who's completely been a bust. And that's the thing with quarterbacks. You just don't know who's going to be a bust or who's going to be good, no matter how good they are in college.
Right.
It's
college stats are deceiving.
Yeah, it's also built around the quarterback. I mean, they build their offense around the quarterback. The great, the strengths of the quarterback. If he's a good runner, they run. And that's what Lamar Jackson, that's what you saw what the Baltimore Ravens did. They built their offense behind the strengths and the weaknesses of Lamar Jackson. Now, does that mean Lamar Jackson is one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL? He was this year because of the way they played. Now, I think he can still develop as a top quarterback in this league and really transition the game? He has transitioned the game. He's changed the game. And now he's changed the way defenses are really going to play against the running quarterback, not the passing quarterback.
That's why you see all these defensive players in the combine running like running backs now. Positions you never would have thought running like running backs now, because you have to be able to stop the speed game, the RPO game that a lot of these teams are using now. Depending on whether they have a actual running quarterback or not, they're using a lot of those concepts. But obviously, if you have somebody with the speed of Lamar Jackson, that helps it even further.
And then you go down the list. Josh Norman could be available. He's a guy that is obviously under contract with Washington, and I absolutely believe Ron Rivera is going to want to get rid of him. Ron does not like those guys, and Ron actually coached him with the Carolina
That's what makes
Panthers.
it weird that they are most likely getting rid of him. That seems kind of strange.
Why?
He wouldn't want his own guy.
Well, he doesn't want his own guy because he didn't really want him there with the Carolina Panthers. He was a big troublemaker in the locker room when he was there. He did not get along with Cam Newton. He does not get along with the quarterback. How many times have we heard that Josh Norman didn't get along with some of the guys in the locker room?
I understand that. I just think Josh Norman, one being his draft pick, and two, transitioning to his defense with the Redskins.
It was Dave Gettleman's pick.
Well, yeah, but he was the coach there, too. He's going to have influence, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Actually, I don't think Dave Gettleman actually drafted him.
No, I think he did. I think that was his first year. But I think in terms of transitioning the defense, they're very similar to where you're better off, I think, with the way the Redskins' corners are, because they're not great after that right now. You might want to hang on to him until you can rebuild that area, because the Redskins, they don't need much else on defense. But again, if your best corner going in is Fabian Moreau as a number one, that seems a little skeptical. And I'm surprised Rivera would not want to do that unless they go after somebody like James Bradbury, who he also coached too, who's also going to be a free agent this year. Maybe that's their idea, and maybe they're going to try to get two for the price of one. But beyond that, it seems kind of strange, though, considering he fits that defense, at least even if he has dropped off a little bit.
I think it has a lot to do with the contract. I think that's the problem.
Definitely, yeah.
And the contract is very, very high. He's one of the highest paid corners in the league. He got that 8-year deal or 7-year deal from Washington a couple of years ago. And even though he had
Snyder, classic Dan Snyder, overpaying
though,
defensive players.
Even though he had a good season, he didn't have a great season, but he had a good season. He wasn't the dominant Josh Nolan we've seen over the years, but he played well.